my god, hey! Welcome back to my stagey YouTube channel. If you are seeing my face for the first time, hello! My name is Mickey Joe and I am obsessed with all things theatre. So the most recent video that I posted on here was me reacting to Diana the Musical, listening to the original Broadway cast recording for the very first time, and giving you my very candid response. After listening to the cast recording and having some thoughts, I decided I was so tempted and I had to go and watch the whole filmed version of the show on Netflix. So today I'm going to be giving you my full review of that production, which I have to say has to be one of the most hated musicals in a long time. I started watching it and criticisms came quite easily. You know, there's perhaps some slight inaccuracies, perhaps there's some lyrics that aren't great, there's some structural things that seem a little bit mundane and pedestrian. And then at a certain point, I thought, oh, I quite enjoyed that. And then I looked back and realised I'd quite enjoyed a decent amount of it. So the shock twist of all of this is I didn't hate it. It is not great, okay? It may not even be that good, but it is also not that bad. It is not 1-star review bad. And I'm going to tell you why in this video. This is a historical adaptation that had a lot to live up to for various reasons. Diana is still very much remembered in recent memory. You know, she didn't die that long ago in the grand scheme of things. A lot of this history is within living memory for many of the people who will be watching it. Secondly, everyone worldwide is very obsessed with The Crown that is currently documenting the same periods of Diana's life. We see many of the same scenes in The Crown as are shown in Diana the Musical, so it had to compare itself with that adaptation that is all about historical accuracy. So it was always going to invite a sort of unhelpful comparison for the writers from that perspective. Thirdly, when you think about historical musicals, you cannot help but compare this with shows like Hamilton, with other things that sort of look at an individual figure's life. And, you know, that's not a helpful comparison either. When you think of a Pulitzer Prize winning musical like Hamilton, Diana is not that. However, what Diana does very well is it has this campy, fun vibe. It's enjoyable. Not everything has to be highbrow and incredibly well written and Pulitzer Prize winning. There's a lot to enjoy about this if you let yourself decide to enjoy this show. I think the biggest problem it has is half of its moments attempt to be serious and sincere, and the other half give in to campness and ridiculousness. It makes them really, really fun and really enjoyable. However, Diana is so beloved and dealt with serious issues throughout her life, so you can't do an entire parody, silly camp musical that fully leans into it. My issue with that, and with the moments when they try and be sincere, is they don't really delve into it meaningfully enough. A lot of the lyrics are sort of just very surface level. Also, I do have an issue with the scene where she meets the AIDS patients. I like that they show it, but then it's also a depiction of gay men as just instantly very catty and talking about their appearances and asking her if they can borrow makeup. Like, it's not the best depiction of gay men. And I know it's about the kindness that she extends towards them, but I really don't like the lyrics of that section and the suggestions that it portrays. But again, I did not hate the show. The comparison I kept making was with Andrew Lloyd Webber's Cinderella. Now, this is another show whose lyrics I could criticize that in turn tries to be serious and tries to be campy and fun. And I actually think Diana has a stronger narrative and storyline than Cinderella, where its characters' trajectories make more sense. Cinderella and Diana both have great performances, they both have some great vocal moments, they both have things visually for you to enjoy, a hard-working ensemble, some good choreography, some clever staging. I think they're both 3-star shows, so I am going to say Diana the Musical for me, 3-star review. And that's not even a fair comparison because, you know, I'm not seeing Diana live, I'm watching a filmed version, which I think is harder to access emotionally. It was also filmed without an audience, so there's very little atmosphere in that recording, and I think it still does quite well for it. If there's moments where Diana feels a little bit cold, that is a very big part of why. Let's talk about some of the performances. I'm going to start by telling you, I cannot pronounce any of these people's names. Is she Jeanna Deval? Gina Deval? The lovely actress who plays Diana, I think she is resplendent. She captures this charm and this charisma that was so unique to Diana, and she really just commands her essence, is vocally stunning throughout. She scarcely leaves the stage. She has dozens of costume changes. She is the emotional heart of the show. It all rests on her shoulders. It's an enormous, enormous task that I think she carries off beautifully. I also enjoyed Ro Hartranft? What are these names? Come on, people. Ro Hartranft was really, really good as Prince Charles. At points, he actually made me like Charles. I've seen other people saying they didn't like this adaptation because it just villainized Charles completely, and if the royal slippers fit. But I was more endeared to Charles than I have been in other adaptations of their story because of his performance, I think, and a really great vocal performance as well. Erin Davie as Camilla. You know, I wasn't expecting to go into this liking Camilla Parker Bowles, but she gives a beautiful performance. When she sings I Miss You Most on Sundays, it's lovely, and it makes me almost root for their forbidden love, which again, not something I was expecting to do. Judy Kay is also something of an MVP here. She plays the Queen and Barbara Cartland. I enjoy her portrayals of both. I think the way that the Queen is written in this story grates on me for reasons I'll go into in a second, but her Barbara Cartland is inspired. For the most part, everyone's accents are okay. Charles and the Queen and Camilla, great English accents. I had no issue with those as an English person. There's some issues, and you know, Welsh is a particularly hard one. Some of their Welsh comes out a little bit more West Country, some of the Cockney moments are a little bit dodge. I want to shout out ensemble vocals as well, because from reacting to the cast recording, there are some great ensemble vocal moments. There are some very challenging ensemble vocal moments. Honestly, I wish this show had more characters. Generally, it all feels very small, like the Queen herself just represents the entire royal family. It makes it feel like something I could be watching at a fringe theatre festival that they wanted to do with a cast of 6. My highlight of the show entirely is probably The Dress, which is the song that they sing about the revenge dress, and this is the one that on Netflix they could not use the F word multiple times like they do in the original cast recording. If you've only seen the Netflix version, go listen to the original version of that track, because it's normally just the F word throughout the song. It's hysterically funny to me. I enjoy just the camp ridiculousness of that, and again, I wish they could lean into that more, but I understand why they're not really able to with this story. I like the use of set. I don't think it needs much more than what it has. I like a lot of the ensemble choreography. I like some of the very clever staging of some of the numbers. Let's talk about the reveals. Oh my gosh. First of all, the costuming is just so good. You know, it's historically accurate. When she came on in some of those dresses, I recognized many of those outfits. The reveal into the wedding dress blew my tiny mind. And I'm not sure if that's something that they do slightly differently for Netflix. They do it in one single shot, so it's not camera trickery. She does actually stand in front of a double in the wedding dress, and then she appears in it magically. You have to go watch it if you haven't. And then again, in A Pretty Pretty Girl in a Pretty Pretty Dress, some of the dress reveals they do there, very cleverly done, stunningly done, and that's exactly the kind of thing that you want in Diana the Musical. You want to see her in 50,000 gorgeous outfits and her quick changing between all of them. So I liked that they put that in. Now, I'm saying a lot of nice things. There is definitely room for improvement in this production. It feels very much like a workshop version of the show that could be improved upon. I like the ideas of what they are going for in some of them. I like the idea of Diana and Camilla meeting in the second act and having this fight that they stage like a boxing ring, but when the two of them actually come together, the song that they sing with each other, it doesn't feel like a great payoff. The fact that there's not a epic duet between these two, a la I Know Him So Well, In His Eyes, The Great History of all of the two female musical theatre duets, was very upsetting to me. That felt like a hugely missed opportunity. The song This Is How Your People Dance. I liked the idea of showing Charles and Diana's contrasting personalities via their taste in music. I thought more could have been done with this. The whole pop rock 80s style throughout, it sounds very much like the Go-Go's, and it's very much the American 80s music. All of those bands that she quotes in This Is How Your People Dance when she's talking about the Pet Shop Boys and Queen and Adam Ant, they don't sound like that music that she's singing it to sounds, like any of these songs in the show sound. I also wish that the royal family sang in a more sort of classical, typical musical theatre style throughout. There are moments of this. When Charles sings the song Diana, it's very traditional musical theatre. When Camilla sings I Miss You Most on Sundays, it's just sort of a beautiful, rapturous waltz. You know, the great musical theatre composers understand that the style of the melody and the music that you give to those characters is what portrays those characters and characterises them. You can choose to endear someone, you can choose choose to describe someone, you can do a lot with the musical style. When you have the Queen riffing in a soft rock ballad, it's weird. It could be considered ironic, but it's not quite tongue-in-cheek enough to really make it clear that that's what they're going for. I also want more third-person description. You know, you hear from her an awful lot, you hear from Charles, you hear from Camilla, you hear from the Queen. I want to hear from more people. At a certain point watching this, I get sick of just going back to those 4 characters. Towards the end, they started having these little sections where the servants were sort of commenting on things, talking about like the public's role in the media circus of all of this. I would love for them to sort of narrate throughout and provide insight. I would love for William and Harry to appear at the end section. I mean, the whole end of the show is something I really don't understand. I appreciate they want to gloss over the death and portray it, but do it in a tasteful way, and I think that they struck a very good balance with that. However, she sings this song about how her greatest hope is that William can be king, even though historically Diana had huge issues with the monarchy and tried to distance her children from the traditions of royal life. I don't know that that really resonates with her character and her wishes in this show. Additionally, after she sort of just walks off towards the back of the stage, Charles comes out and talks about the people who you think will change the world are not the ones who change the world, and Camilla and the Queen are there. And none of the 3 of them were her biggest advocates or fans in life. It feels very strange to have those 3 there talking about her legacy. I think it would be much more powerful to have her sons appear as characters talking about her legacy, or her family, or just, you know, anyone more relevant to her who was actually a friend to her in life. If this wasn't about Diana, it wouldn't be getting this level of backlash. I can only imagine that this is how the Argentinian community may have felt when Evita happened. You know, that has moments where it portrays a beloved icon in a slightly cheap and tacky way. Context is everything. I think the fact that it's a Broadway show premiering on Netflix, which gives it some sense of status, people have a higher level of expectation. If I saw this exact production at a Fringe festival, I would be telling you it was my favourite thing and it was amazing. Some of the headlines that have been written about this. The Guardian said, Diana the Musical review, a right royal debacle so bad you'll hyperventilate. Berkshire Live said the perfect thing to watch if you hate yourself. I don't know who you are, Berkshire Live, you're not important. Screen Crush said Diana the Musical is so bad it makes cats look good. Really? Really? First of all, I love Cats, not the film. This is not that bad. The performances alone and the attention to detail and the direction put this leagues above the Cats movie. Don't even compare them. Variety said, a shallow pop tribute to a complicated icon. That is a headline that I agree with. Perhaps the answer here is that it was too soon for a Diana the Musical adaptation. However, I think we're all judging it slightly prematurely, and I am curious to see what American audiences think of this. You know, the Americans had a love for Diana that endures. There's a lot of Diana content coming out this year. Very intrigued to see what happens when it opens on Broadway next month. If you haven't already, go and watch it for yourself, give it a chance, open yourself up to the idea of enjoying it for what it is and not expecting it to be something else. I don't think it dishonors her memory. I think it portrays her emotions in a way that isn't necessarily incredibly deep, but in terms of giving her a voice, it absolutely does that in an authentic way. Thank you for watching today's video. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, make sure to subscribe to my channel for plenty more stagey content about all your favorite shows coming very soon. Also, if you want to support me as a stagey content creator, head over to patreon.com/MickeyJoeTheatre, where you can get access to all sorts of exclusive photo and video content. I hope that everyone is staying safe and that you have a stagey day.
For 10 more seconds, I'm Mickey Joe Theatre. Oh my god, hey, thanks for watching, have a stagey day. Subscribe!